we dive now into the first topic of conversation, that being one Josh Jacobs, the running back for the Oakland Raiders, or now the Las Vegas Raiders, since the team is moving to Las Vegas. And the question right now is, did the NFL get this right? We question God all the time, and God allows us to question him. That's why he has the come let us reason together ordeal. So, did the NFL get this right in terms of the NFL honor ceremony that took place on Saturday before the Super Bowl over the weekend on Sunday? We were entertained by an incredible Super Bowl, but the NFL honor ceremony, if a lot of fans, NFL media guys, and media guys like myself, with our heads scratching, because I understand this is a quarterback's league. I get it, okay? I get that, especially with the NFL changing so many rules to help the quarterback position out. You can't hit the guy too high. You can't hit the guy too low. If he slides and you hit him, he's a defensive player. You can get fined for that. So a lot of the rules have been changed to help the quarterbacks out. That position controls the market in terms of contracts, in terms of funds, money, trade clause. Quarterback can pretty much write his own ticket. At some point between Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, one of those two is going to be the first $200 million quarterback. I'm calling it right now. One of them two is going to get it. Me personally, I would love to just have $1 million. You know what? Bump that. Give a pimp $500,000. I'm good. But between Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes, one of those two is going to be the first $200 million quarterback. So the quarterbacks, the rules have been bent to help them. They control the market in terms of money, in terms of finances and contracts. And number three, people want to see NFL owners, coaches, general managers, they want to see more of these quarterbacks work, more of these quarterbacks pan out in the league. And that's the reason why in years past, you would have 20 quarterbacks get drafted, right? 10 would be great and 10 would flop. And people got tired of the half and half ordeal. Did I get a quarterback that hit, or did I get a quarterback that's not going to pan out? And of course, these coaches want to see more of these quarterbacks work at the next level coming out of college. So what they did was they got more of these hotshot, young, innovative minds from college, and they brought them into the NFL and said, okay, the offense that you ran in college, can that same thing work in the professional game? Because if it can, we want you to run this in our league to help more of these quarterbacks blossom, to have more of these quarterbacks have success, to have more of these quarterbacks pop up, or pop out, as I should say, in the National Football League. So they changed the rules, they control the money in terms of the contracts, dictate the market, and more hotshot offensive minds are trying to help these quarterbacks work. And despite all of what I've just said, at the end of the day, people like yourselves, the fans of football, the supporters of football, the NFL media pundits, me personally as a media guy, we still want things done the right way. We still want the right objective. We still want the right aspect, despite, the things stated above that I just mentioned. And regardless of how talented Kyler Murray is, he's talented, he's gifted, he's good. I ain't hating the brother. No shade, no palm trees on my end of the woods. But despite his athletic abilities, Kyler Murray was awarded the NFL's Rookie of the Year, and I think it was just highway robbery. I think the NFL got this wrong. I think Josh Jacobs got flat out snubbed. Got flat out snubbed for Rookie of the Year. And I'm going to go into why he got flat out snubbed. First and foremost, Josh Jacobs, the 24th overall pick in the 2019 draft to these Raiders, Josh Jacobs had his team, the Raiders, flirting with the opportunity to make the AFC playoffs. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals had no way of sniffing the postseason. They couldn't even get a whiff of the postseason. The Cardinals finished at 5-10-1. They had no way of whiffing the postseason, sniffing it. In terms of Josh Jacobs, he had the Raiders with an opportunity to at least sniff the AFC playoffs. If you look at the AFC and the NFC, both conferences here, 6 teams per conference make the playoffs. You have your 4 divisional winners in each of the 2 conferences and your 2 wild card teams from each of the 2 conferences. So 6 from this side, 6 from that side, 12 in all. We all sort of get that there. Now, in terms of the Raiders, despite finishing at 7-9, the Raiders, for much of the season, they hovered around the 7-8 spot in terms of the playoffs, the 7-8 spot. So, if not for Josh Jacobs getting hurt, had a leg issue, and if either the Titans, I love you, Derrick Henry, if either the Titans or the Steelers could have dropped a game or two, the Raiders would have definitely made the playoffs. So Josh Jacobs has his team flirting with a potential chance of making the playoffs. Kyler Murray had his team no way sniffing the playoffs. So that's the first one. The second one here, Josh Jacobs set a franchise record, and he finished in the top 10 at his respective position in the NFL in terms of yards for running backs. Kyler Murray did neither of those 2 things. Josh Jacobs became the first rookie running back in Raiders history to post a 1,000-yard season. Jacobs, a season ago, 242 carries for 1,150 yards and 7 touchdowns. His 1,150 yards also had him finished 8th in the top 10, 8th in the NFL among running backs. So, set the franchise record, finished in the top 10 in the NFL in his positional group. Also, Jacobs had 5 100-yard games rushing this past season, and he was a 2-time AFC Offensive Rookie of the Month for the months of October and November. When you look at Kyler Murray finished the 2019 season with 3,722 passing yards. Not bad, 3,722. But he did not finish in the top 10. He finished at number 15, and he did not set a franchise record. So, no franchise record for Kyler Murray. He was not in the top 10 at his respective position at quarterback. Josh Jacobs did both of those things. And then third and lastly here, Josh Jacobs made Raiders football exciting. I am not a Raiders fan. I'll be the first to say that. I used to be a diehard Indianapolis Colts fan, but Jim Irsay messed me over. If you're hearing me, Jim Irsay, I called you out. You messed me over. But when you look at the Raiders, not a Raiders fan, the last time I watched a good bit of Raiders football would have to be when Rich Gannon was playing, and that was back in the early 2000s. But this season, whether it was Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thursday night football, I found myself watching the Oakland Raiders and why Josh Jacobs made it just that darn entertaining. I mean, he embodied the spirit of John Gruden, the swagger of John Gruden, the heart of John Gruden, the toughness of the head coach. Not too many people embody the crazy man in John Gruden. Not too many people do that. Josh Jacobs did that. And on top of all this, he made it entertaining with less superstar names around him. How many superstar names, people, can you name that play for the Oakland Raiders not named Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs? I'll wait. Can't name one, can you? Because there's not too many of them. When you look at the Cardinals, aside from Kyler Murray, you got David Johnson, Kenyon Drake, Pharaoh Cooper, Christian Kirk, Larry, the legend, Fitzgerald, who, by the way, is entering his 17th year in the NFL. Oh, and how could I forget the great Charles Clay at tight end? How could I forget him? You got all those guys, and yet Arizona could only win 5 games. And then not to mention, you got the Wizard. You got the mastermind. You got Yoda. You got Han Solo. You got one of the more innovative minds at head coach and Cliff Kingsbury. And you can only go 5, 10, and 1. But yet, Josh Jacobs, the Raiders, not many superstar names. They got Hunter Renfrow, for crying out loud. And Hunter Renfrow spent, what, a century at Clemson? Oh, he spent like 100 years over there. But, I mean, the Raiders don't have a lot of superstar names. But yeah, with Josh Jacobs, that team was one of the more entertaining teams in the NFL. You had to watch them because of what Josh Jacobs was able to do with the football, with how that team was able to come together around him, and how they embodied with him the persona of one John Gruden. So there it is right there. Josh Jacobs, my 3 reasons once again. Number 1, Josh Jacobs had the Raiders flirting with the playoffs. Kyler Murray did not have the Cardinals sniffing the playoffs. Number 2, Josh Jacobs finished with setting a franchise record and also was in the top 10 at his position in the NFL. Kyler Murray did none of those 2 things. And number 3, Josh Jacobs had Raider football just really fun and entertaining to watch. Kyler Murray, I'll be honest with you, I did not find Cardinals football entertaining. Now, Kenyon Drake was fun, but the Cardinals as a whole, not that entertaining. But yet, folks, we live in a quarterback league, a quarterback world, where the quarterback's like Burger King. He can have it his way. Still, at the end of the day, you want things done the right way, and the right way was not done. Folks, 205-448-1358. The number once again, 205-448-1358 to call and let your voice be heard, or in my own words. If you feel the way I do, if you feel like bruh man Josh Jacobs was just robbed, they just put sugar in his gas tank and robbed him, call and let your voice be heard. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back to the action, we will dive into defensive players that got to step up for the Crimson Tide.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care, in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99, and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.